there's nothing about business and especially business growth that is easy. And I said it's fun. It is, but it's also like just heartbreaking sometimes too.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go. Yeah, we were just talking about how Krista has a sticker over her little camera on her laptop, and I should.
There's people that do, and there's people that don't in life. And I never thought I'd be that when I looked at them. I'm like, I don't know why. I just feel better with it on.
Well, now that you say it, I have to do it.
Someone might be like watching me. I don't know.
The government.
Watching me and jacking off. I don't know.
You never know. Wait, did you hear Steve-O? I had a friend go and watch Steve-O. You remember Steve-O?
Yeah.
From Jackass. He's like sober now, he's vegan, all this stuff. And she saw him do stand-up, and he's coming out with a new show that's called Bucket List, and he's going to do it with his Jackass buddies, yada, yada. And he was describing one thing on his bucket list is jerking off while skydiving.
Pretty par for the course.
I was like, but wait.
Dude, 100%.
So he was watching porn before jumping out of the plane, and like every porn that he turned on wasn't getting him going. So he had to keep clicking next. And then like right before he jumped out of the plane. Anyway, I thought it was pretty fucking stupid.
Dude, that shit makes me sad. I'm like, dude, that's not funny at all.
It's not funny. I don't think Jackass is funny.
Jackass is 0% funny.
But they made
like
so
when
much
they're
money.
like, yeah, put a fish hook in your mouth. Live fish.
Swallow a goldfish and then they would like barf it up. It was disgusting.
That was so foul.
Maybe it's just dudes that think it's funny.
I guess. But what's funny about it?
I
try and think about humor.
Because it's like, oh,
it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Shut up.
It is. It's literally like,
I wonder what.
Here we are. KCRW Radio. Coming at you live with
the TMZ boys.
The TMZ boys. Yeah, that would actually be hell working at TMZ.
Hell. I know someone who works at TMZ. She secretly hates it.
I mean,
but gotta pay her bills.
Yeah, what are they doing like to foster a community environment at TMZ?
I mean, well, it's also hard because they go back and forth. I guess the news does the same bullshit, like where they go back and forth between covering things that are really serious and then things that are so fucking stupid.
What do they cover that's serious? I actually don't know.
Oh, yesterday. So we're recording this before, but yesterday Demi Lovato overdosed. And they had to cover that.
Yeah, Justin told me about that. He's like, did you hear that about Demi Lovato?
It was so sad.
I was like, what? But she's okay?
She's okay. But I mean, a heroin overdose, apparently. But allegedly, I don't know. But, it's like they go back and forth between covering like, Reese Witherspoon, like sampling at Costco.
Yeah.
And then
Demi Lovato's heroin. Yeah, I mean, you see those like the shows that talk about like on Hollywood Scoop or whatever. And
Tell me.
That's hard. It's a hard life if you're doing that.
I know. And I can imagine that they might want to be doing, I don't know. Actually,
maybe.
mind.
I just see that maybe they were like voted best like gossip of high school.
Totally.
I remember in our high school, there was a girl that got won like biggest gossip. And I think like she was on like a campaign. So she like really amped up the gossip during like
was it cool to be biggest gossiper?
Season.
for her. I think it was cool to win
I
anything for her.
Burped on air. I'm so sorry.
So she really ramped it up during election season. It was really, really working the goss to get voted. I think she won.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think she did win. But she was really proud. She's like, oh, yes, gossip. You're like, oh my God.
She's probably a listener now.
Oh, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think we were friends. So today I was at bar class, you guys, and the instructor came in. So I ran to bar class, and I've been trying to run, and I was a little stinky. Didn't put on my deodorant just because you have to put it on literally 100 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the instructor went out of the room and came back with air freshener and started spraying all around my area. Savage as fuck.
That is a new low.
Dude, that's a new ass low. And she was like, oh, sorry. I think there was someone in here before that had BO. Dude.
And you lift up your arm. You're like, can you just...
Have you ever been checked so hard?
Yeah.
That was a check. Oh, and then, so I'm getting called out clearly for my BO, which is sweet. And then after class, she's like, and we have an announcement. Congratulations, Krista, for your 100th class.
Oh my
No joke. I've never heard them do that before.
Also 100 classes?
I am
Good
the
for
same.
you.
I think they fucked up. I honestly think they fucked up. I haven't been in months. I was like 100. And she's like, yes, you get to sign the poll and you get your socks. I'm like, I haven't been in months. Is that weird?
Maybe she felt bad. I don't know. Because she knew.
But it was written. I saw in her little note she had written Krista. And then I was extra embarrassed because I'm like, not only do I have BO, but I just got I'm like, well, now they called attention to me. Now everyone knows my name. They know my name. I'm Krista BO girl.
Damn.
I bet you've been coming in there a lot with BO, and I bet you they know me by the BO.
I mean, as a fitness professional, we do know who stinks in
100%. I'm like, oh, it's me. Whatever. 100 classes. Put it in the books.
I kind of it's a weird enjoyment when I smell.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's poop. Okay.
Yep.
It's not a poop smell.
Yep.
It's your body odor. And I'm just like, oh, that's my body. I'm not, it doesn't gross me out.
Totally. I know. I was thinking about that too. I was kind of all about the natural. I was like, oh, this is just what people naturally smell like.
It's not like,
and I'm like, what am I supposed
balls.
to smell like? Exactly. Flowers. I don't really know what you want me to smell like, but it was a little bit of a bummer because I'm like, what if one of these girls is a listener and then they're going to walk around and be like,
well, everyone knows now.
I know. That's true.
It's fine.
Guys. You're into my little secret. I want to tell you guys about my little secret.
You want to read our latest review?
Oh yeah. That'd be amazing.
So cute. Favorite podcast, 5 stars. Thank you for the movement you have started. I resonate so deeply with the things that you talk about and the expertise and stories that your guests share. Listening to the Almost 30 podcast is like hanging out with my coolest, most loving, and most relatable friends. L. Dag from the U.S. The coolest?
Thanks.
You think we're cool?
Thanks,
girl.
We feel the same.
Truly feel the same. I had one of my fellow SoulCycle instructors. I saw him today and he's doesn't really know what we're doing, knows that I host a podcast with you and knows something that's going on. He's like, yeah, what is it? 30 almost? And I was like, yeah.
Bye.
I was like, yes, but he's a sweet angel. And he was like, I've had a bunch of girls who have come up to me in class after class and say oh, do you know Lindsay? We listen to her podcast. I was like, that's
so now
right.
Do you know? Now do you know the name?
He's like, I should listen, shouldn't I? I was like, actually,
sure, I guess, dude.
Sure.
Fucking listen or don't listen. Fuck. That whole thing of I don't know, just not.
Should I listen question?
Yeah, I'm just
we get it so
I don't
much.
know, man. If you wanna. It's you'll be called to do whatever you need to do. If you're here, you are.
Or
here
just
for
be
a fucking
curious on
reason.
your own. Or just be curious, period. The act of curiosity is just going.
Yeah. And I don't need to I don't need to be please listen, please, Lord, listen to my podcast. because it's reaching the right people. Like
Yeah.
everyone that's listening here is here for a reason. You're part of our community for a reason. And like, all I need is you.
Yeah, I completely agree.
My Uber driver, I told him, he's like, what do you do? I was like, I have a podcast. He's like, oh, that's why your voice is so sweet.
Oh, love that.
I know. I was like,
what a compliment.
I'm so tired. I was like, I have a tired voice right now. He's like, oh, but your voice is so attractive. It's like, oh.
Thank you.
I know. Isn't that nice? I was like, oh, that was so nice.
Uber drivers, man. Uber drivers in LA, the best.
I know. He was the best. He quit his 9-to-5 job to do Uber.
Everyone's quitting.
Yeah. Underpaid. Underappreciated.
Good.
Anyways, so today
we have on Jen Gotch.
Good one. This is brought to you by Clo Money. This was a recommendation by her. Although we both follow Jen, it was just a great idea to get her on the podcast. And she's so cool. That was so, I mean,
well, she's just always herself,
yeah, man.
whether how on her good days and her bad days. And she shares that if you follow her on social media. And she's dealt with, mental health issues throughout her life and has been so diligent to, just get closer to who she really is and just being in her body and all the while has built this incredible brand, ban.do. So, we're trying to have more conversations around mental health. It's really important to us and to our community. So we hear you. But Jen's the best. She came in here wearing the most beautiful, colorful, happy
It's exactly
dress.
what you think she'd wear.
Yeah, it's the cutest. So yeah, join our secret Facebook group. Let's talk about this episode and others. We are on tour currently, so we want to see you on the road. Go to almost30podcast.com/tour and tell your friends. We want to meet you all. And follow us on Instagram, Almost 30 Podcast.
Yep.
And you'll see us on the road.
And you could also listen to Jen's podcast. So not only does she do ban.do, but she also has a podcast too, where she talks about mental health, depression, and anxiety, all of those things. So highly recommend checking that out. And excited for you guys to join in on this conversation. And in the Facebook group, we'll be continuing the talk about anxiety and depression. So excited to continue it there.
All right, guys. Love you. Enjoy.
Love you.
This episode is brought to you by Chosen Foods.
Just had some Chosen Foods mayo. I went and got some vegan sushi or like just brown rice sushi and avocado and vegetables. And it's just kind of bland. So I had to spice it up.
So good. Did you use the wasabi mayo?
Yeah. It's so bomb. You just put like a little bit of wasabi mayo. And because it's the full fat, like you're getting healthy fats made with avocado oil, which is one of Chosen Foods staples. It fills you up for hours.
Fills you up.
It's so clean.
And I didn't know this. I was talking about this last time we talked about Chosen Foods, but like avocado oil is the safest to use because most oils, which I grew up using like olive oil, all that stuff, their smoke point is only 350. So avocado oils is 500.
Wow.
So you can use that to cook and not worry about basically toxins being burned off in your oil.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. I've been using their avocado oil for a long time, but I didn't really understand like the full benefits of it. But really it is that it's the one ingredient. It's the sprays have no emulsifiers or anything like that. And including or incorporating more avocado of any type into my diet has been like really great for my hormone health, really great for my skin, and just really keeps you full. So huge fans of Chosen Foods. They offer a variety of healthy fats, plant-based proteins, and ancient superfoods. We really love them, and we really love that they're bringing people back in the kitchen with their all-natural, real food ingredients that sustain and nourish our bodies. Me and Lindsay are down with that.
Down with that. And it's vegan mayo. I mean,
honey.
I thought the day would never come, to be honest. So there's no dairy, eggs, no glyphosate, can't say it, residue, GMOs, or canola oil in it. So it's all plant powered, which we love. So you can go to chosenfoods.com/almost30 and you use our code almost30 at checkout for 50% off, 50% off your order of $10 or more. So that's chosenfoods.com/almost30. Use our code to get 50% off, $10 or more. This episode is also brought to you by Forsigmatic, the brand using the magic of mushrooms for adaptogenic elixirs that we love.
You guys know we're loving Forsigmatic.
Love it.
So now that it's summertime, at first I was like in a conundrum because I'm like, I don't know how to include Forsigmatic in my everyday. Because in the winter I was having, honestly, maybe 3 of them a day. I'd have something in the morning, the mocha, if I was not feeling like having the coffee. But if not, I'd have the coffee with some almond milk or cashew milk. At night, I would do the reishi hot cocoa, and then in the afternoon, I would do something. But now I'm still heating it up. I'm putting it in the fridge and then over ice. So putting in a natural sweetener sometimes if I want, or really oat milk has been amazing and delicious to incorporate within the beverages that I'm really loving. So I can still have a nice sweet mushroom drink that helps me to focus, helps me to get over the hump in the afternoon, helps me feel amazing in the summertime.
Yeah, I love them. I'm doing the coffee with chaga and lion's mane, the mushroom coffee.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give me that crazy anxious buzz that I would normally get from coffee. I'm mixing that with a little bit of coconut oil and sometimes some cinnamon. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in.
Takes you through to lunch.
Takes you through.
Yeah. Well, not to lunch.
I'll do it before a workout,
Yeah.
and I'm not feeling that vomity feeling that I want to eat, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
Forsigmatic.com/almost30. That'll take you to our personal landing page where you can see the products that we are loving right now. And then use our code almost30 at checkout for 15% off your first order. We're so happy you're here.
So happy you're here.
We
Look at my list of
we've been a
questions.
fan.
Oh, boy. Fast.
We've been a fan of your brand for a while, and then Chloe's been on our team since the beginning. She's an OG. Really introduced us to the women behind the brand, and
Thanks, Chloe.
you've been an inspiration to her. And we'll get into that, but we're just really excited to share you with our audience.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
they admire and love you, and
That's nice.
you know, they've mentioned to us many times that your honesty and your vulnerability, like, they live for, and
That's
is like
so
so
cool.
refreshing. They're like, she's like the only story that we watch,
Wow.
and like so powerful.
That's nice.
Yes, honey.
I think it's just a benefit of being old.
No,
It's true.
What is it like? What does it feel like? Is it comforting to, if you are on, like, say, an Instagram story, is that comforting? Like, or is it kind of a mode of just connecting and allowing?
I think it's a lot
to
of
run
different
through.
things. I feel like when I started, it was really because I needed someone to talk to. And I was between therapists, and my husband had just left, and I just realized that I could have this outlet, especially because I like to talk without being interrupted at all.
I don't really need anyone else.
So I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just very therapeutic for me. But then as people started to react and respond to it, then I was like, wait, is this a win-win? If for some reason me sharing what I felt were really personal and individual experiences actually resonated with all these people, and they're like, oh, that's me too. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so I guess I'm not special. That's okay. But if I could be a voice for lots of people, then why wouldn't you do that? So
Absolutely.
Do you respond to every DM? Like, how do you manage that? And I was going to say,
no, I was thinking about it today too, because every once in a while I'll get a real shaming one. I guess you don't care. And it's more just there's probably I don't know, hundreds a day, and which not in a braggy way, but just the problem is if those were emails, it would be easier because someone could help me manage it. But I don't know what to do. And then I don't know. This is so technical for DMs, but it's once you answer, then it goes in with the people that are your friends. And then I just, but all that said, I was like, maybe I should just start answering all of them, and just do my best and just try. So I usually just pick 5. And
I love that. And you do a little heart.
I know. No, I try. I feel like once you get in, then you get a lot of emojis. I try but I don't know.
I'm sure people really express themselves deeply too. Do you find that?
Yeah. Oh, well, and that's the worst part. But I would say it would be better to email me. There's so many places to email me,
Yeah.
and that's just an easier place to do a story. I also just think about somebody typing that whole thing on their phone, and I'm just like, let's take it to a keyboard. Let's take it to a keyboard.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Talk to us about, before ban.do, like, where are you from? How did you grow up?
Where did you come from?
Yeah.
Well, I was born in New York, but I grew up in South Florida in Boca Raton, and I was there like all through high school, went to college in Florida. And then after I graduated, I moved to Atlanta, which was like the big city to go to. And I just like was totally lost because I was a pre-law major. And then I decided in my last semester that I was no longer interested in law. So it was like I had literature, philosophy, and Latin. So I wasn't really the resume. I wasn't really hireable.
Were your parents like,
you know what? They were, I think they were probably super discouraged, but they just kind of let me go. And reality was really hard for me. Like that was not a seamless transition. And so I moved home. And then after about a year, I was like, I got to just get out of here. Like, I think I had this sense that if I stayed here in Florida or just like stayed in my hometown, like nothing was really gonna happen.
100%?
Yeah. And so I just needed a jolt. Yeah. I mean, I think it's harder. I think it's possible. I think about my friends that stayed, and I do think it's comfortable, and it's the same energy you've always had. Like, that's the thing with California and LA specifically. It was like the first time I came here, because I moved to San Diego just like on a whim. But then I came up to visit someone up here, and I was like, oh, wow, there's like energy in the city that wasn't in, because San Diego's super mellow, which was great and a very easy transition from Florida. But I was like, wait, I think I want to live here. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but like, I feel like you can plug in here. I mean, you guys know because you live here too. Yeah. I mean, did you say this was a 7-hour podcast?
Yes. Yeah, 7 hours.
As long as we can survive.
We'll turn the air on.
Day one in LA. It's been 24 years. No. So I kind of, I got out here. I learned about that creativity was a thing that I really wasn't aware of. And I didn't know that there were jobs that were creative. And so what a perfect place to be to kind of figure all that out. So I did a lot. I mean, I did like on-set dressing, set decorating, some copywriting. I was kind of all over the place. Then I got into prop styling. Well, food styling and prop styling.
Yo, that's cool
yeah,
stuff.
it was really
Don't you like
cool.
spray turkeys with like
You
sunless tanner?
You know what's so crazy is like my first job was making a turkey look
Really?
cooked.
Like glistening.
I was the assistant, but this woman, I was
like
a
maybe
free
you'll have the
assistant.
turkey one day.
Yeah. It was like it was an infomercial for a rotisserie oven. So you bake it a little bit and then you paint it with this stuff.
Cool.
I know. And then you blow torch it to make it look crispy. But I was so
Like George
intrigued.
Foreman grill.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's actually I don't know. There's a tool you can use to make grill It's a really interesting field. I think it's changed a lot, but I wasn't like, I didn't know how to cook, nothing, but I was just like, oh, this is magic.
It's like bizarre and like
so bizarre.
Cool.
But you interact with food styling because you're like at the McDonald's drive-thru. Someone made those burgers look like that, and in magazines. So I just was really interested in that. So I kind of did food and prop styling for a long time, which is mostly photography. I did some film work, but mostly photography. And then I really got into photography and then eventually transitioned into commercial photography. And that's around, I was like just starting to get work. And then we started ban.do, which was just like a side project. So
were you always creative? Like, did this
I think so.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
didn't
the city
know.
kind of like,
Well, I think the city made me aware that it was a thing. I feel like when I look back now, it's like, oh yeah, I was always like attracted to like recording stuff. I mean, I was used to record myself in my closet all the time,
Oh,
you know?
what were
And
you saying?
I was just like talking. I'm like, I can't believe my mom threw these cassettes out because I was like,
oh my!
just
You
like
could have put them on
singing
your
and
podcast
talking.
now.
I know.
That was so money.
Ugh, Mom. She loves to throw stuff out. It's like
My mom does too.
She's
I'm
like, do you need this?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I'm like major
I think
hoarder.
she's trying to erase me.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
know.
literally, there's like not a photo of me in the house. I'm like,
That seriously, you know, my mom has some, but she threw out a bunch of photos. She scanned them, but it's like a whole family issue. But yeah, so I definitely always loved that, but I didn't know what to call it until I got here. And then, you know, there's such a like huge creative community here. And then you're like, oh wait, there's so many different jobs outside of like doctor and lawyer, which was basically what I was aware of.
Yeah.
and food
Teacher.
stylist.
Yeah. Found out about that one later in life, but yeah.
That's amazing.
Did you ever feel lost?
Oh my God, all the time. I still do.
Yeah, like, you know, it's just so funny, like to interview people like you, because it's like you look back and it's like I just think about the past and it's like all fun and games.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like you're like, I was a food stylist. I was like baking turkeys, like whatever. But it's like funny because now look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like during that time, did you feel like, were you like, I don't know what I'm meant to do?
Yeah. All the time. I mean, I will say styling was the first time that I felt like this could be a career, you know? And I think, and I was 29.
You make a lot of money.
Yeah. You can make a lot of money. It's really rewarding. And you're on different jobs all the time. You know, it's really exciting and also super stressful. But I was 29 when I started assisting. So like all of my 20s were me. Loss doesn't even begin to, you know, define what was going on. Cause I was also like struggling with mental health issues and feeling the pressure of like, I have to grow up, but I just didn't have any of the tools to do that. So it took a long time. And it was, I think I was like 31 or 32 before I was like actually financially independent from my parents and like working. And so I'm a late bloomer.
It's the story of LA.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, we have almost 30 is because that period in time in your 20s is so challenging.
Yeah.
You know, and you had mental health issues mixed in, and a lot of women have that. A lot of people have that. And that's just like icing on the cake. And at that time, it's hard to admit it or diagnose yourself or figure it out. And so you're figuring out your career during that time too, where you want to live, your passion, you know, there's just a lot happening. So yeah, we completely feel you.
Yeah. And it's like, I talk a lot about just like emotional intelligence and becoming self-aware. And I think like that's I don't know what curriculums are like now, but like that wasn't on, you know, like any kind of self-discovery really other than like base level stuff just wasn't a thing. So it's really hard to deal with that when you don't even know, you can't articulate it in your own mind, much less explain it to someone outside of your brain. So I feel like we're, you know, just as a society moving, obviously people are much more self-aware and at a younger age. And even when I talk to my parents about it, they're like, we had no idea what any of the words for any of that. So they, you know, the one people that you would hope could guide you, they're amazing parents, but they were just like, yeah, I mean, there weren't like,
She's in a phase. They call it like phases, or
that's
it's not a clinical. So what were you experiencing in your 20s?
I mean, horrible depression. I mean, I have ADD. I ended up being diagnosed as bipolar, but at the time I just identified as depression. Like the mania part, I didn't know what that was, but that was like the only reprieve. So I was like, I'm definitely not going to complain about that. And anxiety, you know, just all the normal stuff, like coupled with like, just like an internal dialogue that's just evil. You know, and then, like not feeling like how it's also like not cool to have your parents be paying for stuff when you're like supposed to be a grown up.
It's so common. How did you like navigate that? Like, I think like you can kind of come at it from different ways, whether it's like working to like break free of it or it's allowing it to be a support as you like
Yeah.
kind of cultivate what you want to do.
It. Yeah. I allowed
I
it.
think there's no shame in
I didn't. I mean, I was kind of spoiled. I wouldn't say spoiled rotten, but like my parents, they just wanted me to have, they just like, why not? And so I think on some level I felt like I deserved to be supported, which is, I'm not proud of that, but they also paid for my therapy for years and years and
That's
years.
good.
So like I started going to therapy, I think I was 24 and went on and off for like 20 years.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But so I was okay with it. The only time it got hard is if I was fighting with my mom and then she would be like, well, we're taking the money.
It's the worst.
There's a lot of push and pull with that. Our relationship got incrementally better when I didn't need money anymore.
Yeah, it's like it is a control thing.
Yeah.
Even though they're giving it willingly and they love
Totally.
and it's part of like what they feel they should do for their children. It is a control thing. Yeah, I can understand.
That's why I couldn't even deal. I'm such a fucker. I could not deal with my mom having that control.
Oh yeah.
First fight, I'd be out.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm on the streets.
Yeah.
I will be on the streets.
Suck it, mom.
Literally, versus like having this conversation with you.
That's amazing.
So you went to your first therapist at 24.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you? Because I feel like now therapy is becoming the norm and it's becoming a conversation that's more open. And
For sure.
But I don't feel like 5-10 years ago it was, or
no,
yeah,
this was 20 years ago.
So were you like
22 years ago?
How did you feel about that? And were you like, what gave you the courage?
Well, first I'll say my mom was always into like self-help and she was taking us to family therapy. Cool. I had been to therapy before, but I never liked it. I had a really bad, like a negative association because I felt like I was always being dragged. And when I was out here, it was like my first serious boyfriend out here was like, I think when I think about it now, I'm like, that was the beginning of the end. I think you need therapy. In my mind, I was like, oh, he cares about me so much. And he was like, I gotta get rid of this one.
Literally.
I think he wanted to like securely get me into therapy so he could just sort of like drift into the darkness, which he
He's
did.
Like creeping backwards.
Yeah. He's like, no, stay there. So I went willingly. And like the second I met with one therapist and I was like, just not jiving. And then the second one that I went to like ended up being amazing and changing my life. Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
How so?
She was like just a real guiding force and sort of like part life coach, part nutritionist. I mean, she just taught me like so much about mind body stuff and just gave me homework each week. And so like, in addition to working through like self-confidence issues or whatever I was taking with me from my childhood, she was like really preparing me to be an adult and like showed me how to like write I don't know what those letters are called because people don't write them anymore. But before, when you needed a job, you like actually
cover letter or something.
Cover letter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she would like help me write scripts for if I needed to call and follow up. Like literally, I didn't know I had no skills, like just how to operate. So she really did. It was like she was doing a lot of different things at once.
Wow.
And she was like a no bullshit. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. My podcast is marked explicit. I was like,
ours is
cool.
Yeah. You're like, do you guys see that E?
Yeah.
Don't listen with your parents around.
My friend pointed it out to me. I was like, that is cool.
Yeah.
It's the coolest.
So
yeah, you're like, it's like a
explicit.
rap artist.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's too hard not to be when you're talking about the things you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, just to like speak
just who I am.
But I meant to, But anyway, so she was the no bullshit kind of, tell it like it is, not very coddly. I mean, she was definitely like sympathetic to things, but she was like, let's fix this. And she really just helped me diagnose everything that she just across the board, everything you would want help with, she helped.
What was she talking about with nutrition? Any changes that you made that you
know,
really
I think I tried so many things and she was really very ahead of like the gluten stuff and like candida and mercury poisoning, like stuff that some of it I think is a little bit more common knowledge now, but she was always just like researching stuff. So there's like a whole like brain gut thing and just how food could actually affect your mood or and just like your diet and your blood sugar, just stuff you don't. I mean, I think like the only thing I knew about food is like what foods make you fat and what foods don't. So and like that doesn't tell you.
And even that, like some of it is kind of a myth with like low fat. Low this,
I mean,
low
I definitely did like a no fat diet that probably almost killed me because it would have been all sugar and chemicals, and I felt like shit.
Like
I was skinny, but yeah. So she really did like just explain how your body works and like what you're doing with it can affect it. So it was great. It was a lot of bang for the buck, even though it was somebody else's bucks.
How many years did you see her?
So many years. I mean, on and off for 20 years.
Wow.
But I would say I went 5 years, like very regularly.
Wow. What would you tell our girls who are listening that are looking for a therapist? Like what to look for?
You know, it's funny because I've been putting off doing an episode about that because I'm like, I don't even no
exclusive.
No. Yeah, this is an exclusive. I have an episode coming out like talking about how to feel better right away because I think that the thing with therapy is it's like you don't walk in and it's not like a normal doctor's appointment where they like give you something and then you don't have to come back. It's like you have to be in a place of like some level of awareness because you're going to have to talk to someone about how you're feeling. So you got to get in touch with that. And then you also, I really liken it to dating because it's like there has to be some chemistry. Otherwise, you're definitely not going to be telling them like your deepest, darkest secrets, which you kind of have to get that stuff out. So I will say there's a website. I don't know if you guys have heard of this website, Advocate. It's ADVEKIT. It's cool. It's like the Southern California area, but it's like a site where you plug in like what you're looking for. I think it like maybe even has like the pay range that you want it to cost, and it matches you.
That's so cool.
I know. I haven't used it just because I don't need to right now, but I've told a lot of girls at work because I think it's just another thing is like ask your friends. That's I mean, most doctors I only see on like a referral from someone that I'm like, okay, we're kind of similar. You know, that would work. But and I guess the last exclusive thing I would say,
you heard it here first,
is like you don't have to take the first one you get. You know, if it doesn't feel right, you don't have to force that because it's a big undertaking.
Yeah, I can see myself like either like trying to figure out the conclusions myself. Being like, well, I think I do this because of this.
Yeah.
Or like lying.
Not like lying, but just being like maybe just not telling everything.
Yeah, like trying to impress them or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you never been to therapy? Yeah.
Literally been on the verge. There's just, no reason in particular. I'm totally down.
Yeah.
I will at some point in my life, and I'm not putting it off for any reason.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It brings up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's
that's
definitely
probably what I'm scared of is like actually facing my like shadow side.
Yeah. And that all happens, especially if you have a good therapist. But I think
I'm nervous about figuring one out. Like,
yeah,
I would like it just, I guess what is my fear a little bit is that they could like seep into your subconscious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you have to fucking trust them.
Yeah.
Because it's like they could fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know?
They wouldn't though.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't.
I've seen too many movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's gonna be a pervert and he's gonna fuck me.
That's amazing.
I'm like, he's gonna get hypnotized and fuck me.
Oh my God.
Well, that could make for a good session.
Yeah, I
agree. They don't all have to be talking.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Apres. Drinkapres.com is where you can go for your favorite ready-to-drink plant protein. It's delicious.
It's so bomb.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, I love Apres. I mean, you could have it after your workout too. So a lot of people are subscribed to the belief that having protein within 20 minutes of your workout is beneficial for your health. And there's a lot of studies based on that. But I really love to drink Apres during that break between lunch and dinner. So when you have, the hunger pangs happening around 3:30 or 4 and you want to make it to dinner, I love to just grab my Apres from the fridge and drink it to hold me me over because I know it's going to be a really healthy, easily digest, protein, fat, carb combination that tastes amazing.
Yeah, they have it has 13 grams of organic plant protein. It has MCT-rich organic virgin coconut oil and hydrating organic coconut water. So you're getting hydrated, which I struggle with. So this has been such a great addition to my recovery in between workouts and working. I just love it. And each Apres bottle has 6 grams of organic sugars, which is not a lot. 4 grams of the organic coconut oil. It's GMO-free, gluten and dairy-free, soy-free. You're covered.
My favorite flavor is the sea salt chocolate.
It's so good.
It's so creamy.
It's really creamy, and I love the mint cacao. So we're on opposite sides of the spectrum here.
Typical.
It's really good. The flavors are really smooth, and we know you'll love it. So you can go to drinkapres, drinkapres.com. Use our code almost30 for 15% off your first order. So drinkapres.com. drinkapres.com. Use our code almost30 for 15% off. This episode is also brought to you by FabFitFun.
What's in the box? One of our homies, our fave homies, Natasha, works at FabFitFun, and she loves her fucking job.
Yeah, man.
How could you not love it?
To be able to deliver full size of like amazing products, make women happy quarterly. I'd say so. So the FabFitFun Fall Box is now on pre-sale. You guys have heard us talk about this before. We love FabFitFun. It's like a little treat quarterly. Boxes start shipping on August 20th. So you can reserve this highly anticipated fall box today. We have some spoilers for you.
There's like Reddit threads about spoilers.
I know.
That's hilarious. That is crazy.
That's when you know you've made it.
We need to make a Reddit thread about spoilers about our guests.
So if you didn't know, FabFitFun is a seasonal subscription box that delivers full-size fashion, beauty, home, fitness, and wellness products. And they're delivered 4 times a year for only $49.99 a box. I don't know if you understand. These are all full-size items. So your box could be valued definitely over $200. It's crazy. So for example, in the fall box, every box will include Glam Go Bubble Sheet Mask, Love a Mask, Beauty Blender in the Pro Original Chill Pop Bubble Glow Royal and Apricot or Nude. Those are the colors. I love a Beauty Blender.
Yeah, you use them.
Yeah, I do. I like it. And then all members can choose between the Vince Camuto Luck Tote in black or red desert, which is valued at $128.
I love that you can choose the colors too.
Yeah. Like they just give you options so you don't feel like, I'm getting a box, don't know if I'm going to like everything. Or you can choose the Crown brush 6-piece brush set in silver or black. So if you're needing to kind of revamp your makeup brush set, now's the time. So yeah, we love FabFitFun. You know, you should treat yourself. I think it's really, really important.
Or treat a friend.
Absolutely. It's a great, great gift. So you can sign up for FabFitFun today to get your fall box. The FabFitFun fall box is a limited supply. So I would hop on this. They almost always sell out. So you can use our code almost30 to get $10 off your first box. You can go to fabfitfun.com. So FABFITFUN.com to sign up and start getting the box for a life well lived. Use our promo code almost30 and you get $10
So
off.
$39.99 for $200 worth of stuff.
Come on.
Enjoy.
Okay, so I kind of want to go. So that point where you were in LA and you were kind of exercising that creative spirit, were you still dealing with, I know you still do today, but was it intensified? Your anxiety as you started to get more creative, or was it helping? Like, what was that relationship and how did you collaborate with it?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I try and use weaknesses as strengths just in general. Like, I don't like to be defeated by things that I can't really change. You know, it's like you can manage, but I know being bipolar made me more creative because it's like when you really tap into like some of that, you know, manic or hypomanic, it's like a rush of ideas and you can kind of like go off into like a fantasy world a little bit. And I feel like I was lucky enough that it never took me to a place of danger, but I was like always, I mean, I'm just a very like idea driven person. So yeah, I think that helped a lot. You know, the anxiety, I had named it that, but it wasn't my main concern at that time. It's definitely become much larger of a concern over the last like 10, 12 years. But I attribute a lot of ban.do's success to my own anxiety and the anxiety I induce in other people. And like the fact that like, you know, I'm a magnet. So like I draw in a lot of like-minded people. And so like that core group, we were all sort of like, you know, perfectionist, control, but it's like startups almost need that. So now that it's a larger group, if I see someone and I like don't think they have any anxiety, I'm like, you might want to crank that up a little bit to survive here.
Like there's no sense of urgency.
Yeah, or just like worry.
Yeah, like
totally.
I need you to freak
we're
out.
We
here
need to have
because of how
low
much we
level
worry.
worry all the time.
I think so. I mean, especially maybe not if you're like on the data driven side,
Like
but like if
accounting
you're
or
doing
something.
like anything creative or product development or events, it's like you have to be worried about what's going to go wrong so that you can like be ready to solve.
Yeah.
And so when I see people that are just like relaxed, I'm like, how nice for you, but also like
Nice for you. Today's your last day.
Yeah. I just tell them like, let's get some more caffeine, whatever we need to do to get you there. Yeah.
We need those cortisol levels up. Get them up. So how do you so do you find that you relate to people like that? Because it's interesting that some people are magnets and some people are yin and yang.
Yeah.
Some people want the even keel.
Yeah.
So do you find that helps you be more creative when you're around people that are the same type of speed as you?
Yeah.
Or just like there's an understanding?
Yeah. I think it's like, I think it has less to do. My creativity is to me fueled most by like-minded people, you know? And so I think there's a little bit of a hive mind sensibility at ban.do, especially like with the core group of creatives that I work with, that it's just a given that we're on the same page and like we understand the same aesthetics and language. And so it gets harder for me when everyone's coming at it from a different place. And now creatively, you know, at least at ban.do, it's about being true to the brand we created and not our own personal interests. And that gets hard because a lot of like creative people and designers and artists want to get their work out. But when you work for a brand, like the brand and the customer decide, not you.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. And so like that I work best within those confines and with people that can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's all
100%.
stuff I learned. I didn't know that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I've learned it, you know, every day.
Mm-hmm.
You learn,
What was your first idea within the world of ban.do that kind of took off or felt like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
Good one.
something?
I mean, just
Jesse's
in
coming with the
general.
heater today. Great questions.
Thanks, partner.
Yeah, no one said this was going to be a hard hitting interview.
Yeah, I was like, get ready.
Do you need to take a break?
I'm just like, what was the problem?
Kristen's blotting her eyebrow today. I don't know what's going on.
I'm a pastor.
Oh
in
my
Deep
gosh.
South, and I'm blotting my eyebrows.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
This is about to be see-through.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I think see-through is the new.
It is.
It is
opaque.
the new.
Yeah.
This is my look for this month.
Yeah.
I've worn it 8 days in a row.
I'm
This is
doing a
what we
lot of
do.
that
We wear
too.
the same thing every day for probably like
Until I'm
a
done,
week
and
and
then
a
I'll
half
never
or
wear it
2
again.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. I
No shame.
don't hate
Because we
that
only just
idea.
see each other.
No
Yeah.
shame. I'm like, hey,
Well,
this is my look right now.
And like when you find something that you like, it's like kind of a lot of pressure to have to repeat.
100%. I literally
comfortable.
had that thought today. Speaking of like having an office and people going into an office and having it be a cool company, and then I might want to go back to the question, but it's like a lot of pressure to show up to like a creative vibe, fashion, whatever it is, and like have a look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You kill it.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
nice.
But it's like I am just like kind of a schlub in that sense, and like so I
I've
don't
always
know if I could do it.
Worked at loser companies for that reason.
That's amazing.
I don't want to go in and have everyone be looking good and me be like, oh, I have to look good today. Like me, like putting my look out before work the
I
next
love
day.
it. Yeah. I will say it's super casual at ban.do.
I'm
Like
sure.
it's mostly jeans and t-shirts.
Cool.
And like for me, I think I got to a place maybe 6 months ago where I was like, I'm just going to try and dress nice. and just see if that helps me feel better. But for the probably 4 or 5 years before, many days I was just in my pajamas. And I was like, fuck
There
this.
is something about getting dressed though.
No,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I feel that. Like, you know, even if it's not a cute look, whatever, I do feel better when I get dressed.
Yeah. I think it's like, for me, it's also just like a good creative exercise because I have like, just because I've always vintage shopped. So there's just like jewelry. It's like a fun little game to just see like what I can take and mix. And I don't know.
It is fun.
That
And you're the
sounds
boss.
surface,
Creative.
but yeah, it just feels like a good challenge.
Yeah.
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 And you're the boss.
Yeah.
So back to that.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I think I actually think the idea of ban.do was the first thing because it, you know, when we started, it was vintage, one of a kind flower crowns essentially, but it was like a couple of years before that was a thing. It was like we were just doing these really bold hair accessories that my friend and I were just making. And I think there was something we had like tapped into the creative consciousness, and it's hard to tap in and then activate that so fast. And I feel like I've missed the boat on that so many times, and we actually did it and got in early. And so the reaction, like even the day we launched our website, was so big that I was like, that was like the spark, you know? So that, I mean, that was a lot of different products because they were one of a kind. So we've obviously, you know, pivoted from that model. And so now, you know, there's all sorts of things because now we do so much stuff. So I think it has more to do with like phases. I don't know if there's like any one product. I will say that like Instagram and social media changed a lot for us because I really early on when I saw that growing was like, we should make things that would make for a great picture. And I think like coming from a like set design and prop styling, like I would think about the things that I was always looking for that I couldn't find. So like a big heart-shaped inflatable or, you know, just like whatever those things are, or just things with big messages. So you could just take a picture and like express to the world. So I think like that during that time, we really like were able to like establish ourselves and like visually let people could like associate. So if I was going to pick a product, I would say we make planners. And that was definitely the first thing that they were just like, you should do a planner, our parent company. And I was like, do people still use those? Like there's computers now. And they're like, no, people will definitely still use them. And we really went after it, trying to do something a little bit different. And it really resonated. It's probably our best selling product. Yeah. So that's the one. And it's like got in so many people's hands and you use it every day. So it's like a nice brand.
I love
reminder.
Yeah. You love planners.
I do. I love a good planner.
You do?
I love planners. I just write them. The parent company, how did you guys connect?
We, in about year 3 of ban.do, Jamie, my partner that I started it with, was moving to Texas, and she wasn't going to be able to work there. And we had a few employees, and we would just, we didn't want to shut it down, but we didn't really know how we were going to keep it going. Cause I was like, I don't really want to take on a loan. And like the idea of venture capital, that wasn't even like something we were aware of, but I'm kind of glad that we weren't aware of that. But so we're like, let's just try and sell it. I mean, it was just like, it's funny when I think about it now, because it's like, you say you sold your company, so it seems like, oh, somebody approached you and was like, here's $1 gazillion. It was not like that at all. But we were like, let's try and keep it alive. So long story short, we were like able to access this YPO, which is a Young Presidents Organization. So like a local chapter here, and sent out like an e-blast to everyone in the chapter about selling the company, and got a ton of interest. Cause I think because Jamie was a stylist. And so like, I feel like because we always had like the photography on lock, people would come into our office, our old office, and be like, this is ban.do? Or like, yeah, this is like 2 of us in a room. But because it just looked bigger. So we narrowed it down. Cause as people started looking at like the actual numbers, they were like, oh, this is a tiny company. But we sold to this company called Lifeguard Press, and it's a privately owned company. The Todd and Kim Ferrier who own it are like they're just like family to me now.
Mm-hmm.
And they do licensing for larger brands like Kate Spade and Lily Pulitzer. And so they were looking, the one thing that they were looking for was the one thing that we had. And then they had everything else that we needed because they just wanted a brand, you know, creativity, a voice, an aesthetic. And we needed infrastructure and like understand like how to make products and distribute products and sell products. And so it was just like really the universe, just like a total gift.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
what is your relationship with spirituality?
I mean, I'm definitely not religious, but I have a huge belief in the power of the universe and just like energy. Even before I didn't know what that was, always knew that like my thoughts could create something. You know, if I was going to be negative and think negative thoughts, that would eventuate. And if I wanted to do the other, and I just started seeing it working. And then I actually think like when The Secret came out, I was like, I'm just going to try it.
Same.
And like stuff just started
Dude,
working.
It works.
And
It's
so
crazy.
I was just like, and so then I've just read more about that. Like lately been really into Reiki healing and like understanding all of that and like higher self stuff. And so I feel like happy to be at a point in my life where I can actually like just sit in my room and read about
Dude, that's
who
the
I
dream.
actually am and who that voice is and whose body this is and how we're all connected. So I think about that stuff a lot, but I feel like it's a total luxury to be able to sit and think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're sweet that you say that. Yeah, I feel you.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, BioClarity. We're still using it. It works. So the Clear Skin Routine and the Essentials Routine are the two routines you can choose from. So the Clear Skin Routine is what I'm using. I'm still experiencing some
Such a
breakouts.
classic.
I mean, it's a classic and
Yeah.
it works. The cleanse, the treat, and the restore. The treat is something I put on almost like a spot treatment, but it doesn't make your skin red or flaky, anything like that. And the Essentials Routine, cleanse, restore, and the hydrate. The hydrate is really good.
Yeah, I always like it really after the gym. So it's really nice for spring and summertime because it's just really, really light. So that's one of my favorites. But they also have 2 masks. So I know masks are huge. Everyone's loving masks right now. And I am obsessed with their Glow Getter mask. It has coconut, it has bergamot, it has sandalwood, and it really just helps to detoxify your skin and doesn't dry your skin out. So it's been one of my favorites. Having a mask on hand from BioClarity has been a game changer.
And it's 100% vegan. Plus, it's gluten-free and cruelty-free, and it's delivered straight to your door every month. So for our listeners, they will get their first month for 50% off a routine plus free shipping. And it comes with a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. So at checkout, you need to enter almost 30, ALMOST30 at bioclarity.com. That's bioclarity.com. Enter our code almost 30 at checkout for 50% off a routine. When you sold the company, like, did you feel like you were, I don't know if it's spiritually ready or like that your like being was like able to hold all that was about to come? Like, did you like have a conflict in that? Like sometimes like with us, like we want to grow and we have a lot of like dreams and visions for this, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like I really have to work on like being able to hold the space for all this. You know, it's like an active practice. So like, did you feel that?
I'm very impulsive. So I don't think about stuff like that at all. Which sometimes opens things up to me that if I had thought through would have not worked. Yeah. And then sometimes puts me in situations that I probably shouldn't be in. But no, I didn't. I mean, I had no idea, you know, I had no context. I had never worked anywhere really. You know, I worked retail and then I was a freelancer for 14 years. So I didn't know. And I definitely didn't know what the potential was, you know, like I remember thinking like our password for everything used to be ban.do 10,000. Cause I was like, what if we made $10,000? Like, could you fucking imagine that?
That's amazing. That's
you know,
amazing.
and so it's like now I'm like, oh yeah, like this, my brain didn't even know to go I'm not really much of a dreamer. Like I have a lot of ideas, but I'm not like, I don't do that. I wish I did it more, but I don't like fantasize.
Cool.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. I actually got my angel card. I pulled my angel card and it said daydream. Said I should daydream more.
Yeah.
So I was like in the shower. I'm like, okay.
I know you're like trying.
Yeah, I was like, start daydreaming. Yeah. I don't really know. I kind of forget what daydreaming is.
No,
Well,
I
it's
don't
hard
know.
because
Yeah.
I think you have to like turn off a lot of things to be able to daydream.
Yeah.
And we have so
Rational
many
mind.
things that we need to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, what counts as a daydream and what's like a to do?
Totally. Is it like a fantasy?
Yeah,
where you're
I'm like, am I daydreaming
fucking your
about like
therapist?
an email? Yeah, fucking my
Yeah,
therapist.
you already
whatever.
did that. Already
That was
did
my
that one.
daydream. think I found
I
a
think
good
he
one.
was like a hypnotist therapist, if
I-
I
yeah.
remember.
You're
There's
right.
definitely been a scary movie about that.
I didn't see it.
Where he
but-
like, I don't know. I feel like there's like, all right.
We'll let it go.
for another
Yeah,
time.
let it go.
For another time.
What has it been like to like have a team
Mhm.
Yeah.
and have people who report to you? And
Fun and hard, and intimidating at times. It was a really small group for a long time, and I knew I had it good, but I didn't actually fully understand that until we started growing and hiring strangers.
Mm,
Mhm.
And because like these girls are like family to me because we've just been through
yeah.
so much. And so to bring new people in and then they come with all sorts of expectations of like what their job is going to be and how I'm going to be. And it was really challenging. I mean, I'm kind of on the other side of that now. And I mean, obviously like without a team, I wouldn't be here with you guys. I'd be in the office, So it's been really rewarding for me. And it's been really, I don't have kids. So it's like been exciting to
Yeah.
like mentor people and like watch them get better. But it's not, there's nothing about business and especially business growth that is easy. And I said it's fun. It is, but it's also like very just heartbreaking sometimes
Yeah.
too. So I've learned a lot. I mean, I think it's like, you and you guys maybe have experience too, you get to a point you're like, I've figured it out, like I'm good at this. And then the next day someone was like, oh, you're not doing this right. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know how to like attack that. For me, the biggest thing was like actually how to direct and manage people because it was such a small team and we were so on the same page that we will literally communicate with a glance. Like we still do like a bunch of things. And I'll just like look over and they're like, got it, and for people that hadn't known me or worked with me or maybe just weren't as like-minded, they were like, you have to like articulate all of it and tell me what to do. And I was like, oh, that's like, I'm such a passive leader that I was like, I don't even know. I mean, I figured it out, but it was
that's
really hard.
challenging.
Yeah, it was hard. And it was hard to find out that like I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Yeah.
I
You're
was
like, a blink didn't work.
That's bad news. Yeah.
You got your Survey Monkey results back. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah. Bitch said this.
Yeah.
But I think it would be refreshing for anyone to kind of see, yes, of course, we want our boss to like give us direction, but to see like the human side of a boss, I think is refreshing and
For
very,
sure.
like 2018.
Yeah, they definitely get to see that.
Yeah, it's great.
The human side is there all the time.
Yeah.
The boss side comes and goes.
For
Love that.
how do you deal with your anxiety and depression today?
I mean, I take medication.
Does that help you? Has that helped?
Totally.
Yeah.
I was on I got on Prozac when I was like 23. And then in my 20s when during the lost years, I was on a bunch of different medication cocktails trying to figure out what was going to make me feel the best. And then around 31, I actually got put on 2 medications because I got my bipolar diagnosis and that like helped me. And then I would just take Xanax if I was getting super anxious. And then around 5 years ago, I just stopped taking my meds, which is like a common mistake that people make. But I had gone on a trip and I forgot them and I didn't feel any different. And so I was like, maybe I don't need these, which is like, let me warn you, that's like 99.9% of the time. That's just like a coping mechanism or something that you tell yourself that's not true. But I went, up until I just started back last December. And I think like I was just kidding myself that I was okay. But getting back to like what we were talking about initially, it's like once I started like actually recording how I was feeling, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you're like, you are not well.
I'm not well. I'm fucking that. Like, look in the mirror, honey. So then I went back on, and then I also like started taking better care of myself, and I changed up my diet. I mean, I honestly did everything. Like, I need my brain to function in such a major way right now because of like all of the jobs that I have created for myself. It's like I can't fuck around. So I take it very seriously, moment to moment, like trying to stay aware of it and just always trying new things, but like keeping a stable baseline. And even all of that said, this morning I was like, ugh, it's like it's not really like ever totally cleaned up.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. That's
of course.
That's got to be like the worst.
Well, I can function unless it's like really, really bad. I think I've just like learned to, I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
It's like,
for the self-care and the diet, what's changed?
Well, I started drinking bulletproof coffee.
Oh.
Yeah. Which my therapist actually had told me about years and years ago. And I was like, I'm not putting
butter
in.
She's a legend.
Yeah. Because she is like a real researcher and like always reading papers, like stuff that you'd wait till it's a New York Times bestseller to be like, maybe I should check this out. That really helped because I had started taking Adderall for my ADD, and because I was just like, I got to get this work done. But Adderall is like a street drug. It is so harsh. And so I was like, I got to figure something else out. And so I was reading about bulletproof. So I started doing that. And then I had gained a bunch of weight because I was going through a divorce. And so I just was like, I started reading all the bulletproof stuff, and there's like a diet that's like a ketogenic diet. And I mean, when I do that, I can't maintain it all the time, but I did it for like 5 months and just like clean brain, like just
wow,
solid. So everything that people say about all of that is true. It's just like the reality of, I mean, I also work at like essentially a fucking candy factory. So it's just like there's like a celebration every day.
Oh my God.
And so it's just, like, I think for most people, it's also expensive to buy like grass-fed everything. So, but I think it's like just being aware. So I can feel it if I have like sugar a bunch of days. I'm just like,
Same.
Yeah.
Well, you look great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Truly.
You look great, honey.
Truly. What's next for ban.do? Like, what are you excited about?
I'm actually really excited because this whole mental health thing that really was never a planned thing. And like, even with my podcast, when Sophia asked me to do it, she was like, would you want to do a mental health podcast? And I was like, no, I definitely don't want to do that, which I kind of ended up doing anyways. But I just hadn't identified that like that was going to be a path. And then I did the necklaces, and which was just like an idea that it was weird because I just like, I was like, I think I should just do these. And I didn't really ask anybody. And I just like reached out to my friend at Iconery who does the necklaces with us. And I was just like, I just want to do it fast. And then I'm like, I'll just tell them after it's all. And then like
impulse.
Yeah, I know, which I never do because I'm like a total rule follower. I'm like, there's protocol. I respect that. But I was just like, something said, just like do this. And it really just like popped a bubble for us because I had no idea what the reaction was going to be. And whether it's good or bad, there's like such a major reaction. And I was like, so I'm really excited about what that means for ban.do because, we've always leaned into the fun part of our brand because it's like the easiest to digest. And if you have a brand and you have the luxury of having like, where you can be like, we're the fun brand and people understand that and go to you for that. Like that's invaluable. Like brands take their whole existence to get that gift. And so I always felt like, well, I fought it for so long because I wanted to be like, we're more than that. And we're serious and we're thoughtful and we're emotional. But like a year and a half ago, I was like, let's just be fun. We don't have to get so heady about it. Let's just do it. But I think there must have been something in the background that was still like trying to figure it out. And then I think the necklaces like opened up a new conversation. And so I'm really trying to pivot the brand to be about feeling good. And so it's not like, oh, I want to be a mental health brand because that doesn't make sense. Like that's me, that's my mission. But for ban.do, when I look at everything we've done the whole time, the intention has always been to make people feel better. At whether that's like using color and using pattern or using language. Like if you look at every phrase we've never put anything negative on anything. Like it's all about optimism, taking care of yourself, expressing yourself. And so I was just like, I just want to reframe it all because it's just like, it takes something that I feel like could feel trivial and like make it, I mean, it's like the phone case says chill pills on it. That's an anti-anxiety phone case that we made that case is like 4 years old. But we're just like, that's a funny case, you know? So I'm really excited about what that means for our brand because we're celebrating our 10-year birthday this year. And it's like, part of my job is like, what do the next 10 years look like for the company? And so I'm just like incredibly excited about that.
Yeah, it's so dynamic.
Change a lot. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it. Like pops the bubble. That's like
it really felt like that. Like I don't think I've ever really had something happen before.
I feel that too.
Yeah. Well, immediately all the dialogue changed. And so it's like when people reach out to me or when people talk to me about ban.do, they're no longer just like, oh, it's so quirky. They're like, I really like what you're doing in the mental health space, or like, it's so refreshing how like good you're trying to make people feel or how positive you are. It's like what people are saying back to me completely changed in the last 6 months. So that's like super encouraging because sometimes you have, you know, like prior to that, I was like, why aren't they getting it?
Totally.
Why do they keep saying we're quirky and fun?
You have like a unicorn phone case. You're like, why aren't they getting it?
I know. It's true. It's like, it's just like me on roller skates surrounded by rainbows. Why don't they take me seriously?
Dude, I mean, that's so fucking exciting. It's interesting now as a brand, you have to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Almost.
But I agreed, or at least a point of view. And I think that, you know, so many brands that are popular in fashion and even just in like the e-commerce space and like newer companies, a lot of them can be like very social, you know, socially minded or environmental or politically minded or just like girl power or feminist. And I just like, although I care about all those things, like I've just never wanted to associate that stuff with ban.do. And I think like, so the point of view was fun, you know, was like just be happy. But now I just think this is like strengthens that point of view. And I keep saying like, we got to do this now. Cause it's like everyone like,
you're like, we need bipolar necklaces.
I know. Well, we have them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have bipolar necklaces and then we have a 7.8. That's like my emotional rating system. It's like the perfect mood. And then we have a new necklace coming out. I don't know, sometime in the next month. And then it'll be like a little capsule collection.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's also just like giving like connecting you to people who are already fans of ban.do, but I think there's so many things to buy now just everywhere. It's like, I want to support a brand who like one, I can connect with the founder or like the mission behind it. So I just think it's going to like, I mean, you're already sky high, but
no, I do. I do think, I mean, and we look at that too on like what consumers want. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a business too. And I feel like we've had that like connecting. I always say like connection over transaction. Like that's how I always operated it before I understood business. And it's like, well, the transaction has to be in there somewhere. Cause I'd always be like, let's do this for free. Let's do this. Give them what they want. And, but I do think something about that philosophy really did, like the core people that have been with it are so connected that it's amazing. And we don't take advantage of that, you know, because I don't want to, you know, but I do think moving into the next thing, because it's like, it's cute shit. So, but like, it has to be more important than that, I think, to survive, like what the next 10 years are going to look like for our world. And it's not even just the necklaces are a tiny part of it. But when I look at like we have stuff that like everything's going to be okay, or we have things coming out later that say good mood. It's like we've been doing it before. Like all of those things were done and designed before we ever talked about mental health. So, so yeah, I'm excited. I hope it works.
It is.
If not, I don't know.
It is.
Might come work for you guys.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's a long application process.
Okay.
I'll get working. We keep
on
you
it.
hot.
Yeah, I'll work on my cover letter. Mail it to you.
My last question: what would you tell? So a lot of our girls have depression, anxiety, bipolar. What would you tell them?
Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I do think, and I think it's worth me repeating. Finding ways to build your emotional intelligence and become more self-aware is really the key to solving some of that. Now, like, it's not going to get cured necessarily, but it's just the management of those illnesses gets a lot easier. And then, something else that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like with the whole self-care thing, and just like what a misnomer that can be at times. That I was talking to one of the girls in the office about, like, I don't know if like going home and like eating pasta and like binging on Netflix and being comfortable in your bed is self-care, even though people are like, well, that's what I needed and that's self-care. I think it's like really taking it seriously and identifying like the difference between like self-deprecation and self-care, or self-soothing and self-care. And so like learning how to take care of yourself is really important. And then the last thing I would say is like, once you have a baseline, then you have to ask for help. So you got to find one person to talk to and then maybe two people to talk to. But we're living in such a cool time because a lot of those stigmas are at least starting to be lifted. I'm sure it's going to be decades before it's not a thing anymore, but it's, in the workplace and just in families, just to be informed and be able to have those conversations is super important. So
thanks for starting them.
Yeah, truly.
My pleasure,
Thanks,
actually.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Chloe, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Chloe's
giggling.
We
aren't shit to Chloe anymore. She comes for the good guests.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, she told us 2 weeks ago, I'm taking off. I'm coming over.
I won't.
Just kidding.
Tell.
It's Sunday.
I won't.
Well, thank you. I know our listeners are going to.
Yeah.
Well,
they've been asking
so.
about depression,
Feel like
anxiety.
they're not
They love you.
alone.
So this is like,
good.
we're thankful.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks for being here. You're the
Of
best.
course.
See you next week.
See you next week. Love ya.
Bye. Jen Gotch, everyone. The beautiful, talented, cool as hell, super open, quite the inspo. She's changing the game for brands everywhere.
And I think for any creative too, she's such an inspiration because I feel, and I've talked to Chloe about this, just at times you literally feel crazy as a creative because you're unable to process the downloads that are coming through and the ideas and the visions. And it's just, I think Jen will serve as a big expander for those that are kind of like hyper creative in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thanks so much for listening. We are so grateful for you. As always, we've loved meeting you on the road. If you can come to any of our future tour stops, visit almost30podcast.com/tour. Check it out. Tell friends. We're blessed.
We are blessed. So thanks for rating and reviewing. It means the world. Really helps us get on amazing guests like Jen. Appreciate it so much. And we will see you next episode.
Yeah.
All
Spot
right.
on. See you later.
Bye-bye.